So Thor at this point is furious because he likes winning and he hates giants. So he's like, well, nobody's going to be able to beat me. And the guy's like, well, what can you do? And the first thing he says is, well, I'm really good at drinking. So they're like, all right, finish this in one drought. Here's this horn of mead, and I want you to finish it in one take without taking your lips off of it. So he's like, okay, I've done that a billion times with horns that are a lot bigger than this, so alright, sure, fine. If that's what you want me to do, I'll do that. So they fill it up and they give it to him, and so he takes it and he starts drinking and 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 drinking, and it won't go away. He cannot, he can't finish it. It just keeps coming and coming and coming, and he doesn't get it. He doesn't understand what's going on because he's a good drinker. He can drink. He can finish a thing of beer or whatever, but he can't finish this thing. He finally has to pull it away, and he's gasping for breath, and he couldn't do it. So they're all laughing at him, and that's just making him even more angry because they're like, well, we can do it. Everybody else can do it. Like, sometimes it takes people maybe 2 or 3 sips of it, but it's always gone. And he just can't finish it. So he couldn't do it on one. He tries again, and he can't do it on the second one, and he tries the third one, and and after that, he can't drink anymore. And everybody thinks it's hilarious. Well, he's like, well, that's not what I'm most known for. I am really strong, and I can lift anything. So like, oh yeah, you can lift anything? Alright, well, there's my cat. Lift my cat. Can you do that? And he's insulted. I mean, it's a big cat. It's big. But he's lifted things that are bigger than that before, and he's like, no, that's stupid. Like, give me something strong, bigger to lift. And they're like, no, start with the cat. Some of the younger baby giants amuse themselves by picking up the cat, so you try to pick up the cat. So he goes over, and he's like, I can do this. So he tries to lift up the cat, and he can't lift it. It's not even budging. It won't go anywhere. And so he tries and tries and tries and tries, and the most he can do is lift up just a little, just like the paw, a little bit of the way. And then he drops it, and he can't lift the cat. And so he's humiliated. He has no idea what's going on because he's the strongest person there is, and he can't lift a cat. So they're all laughing at him again, and he's even more insulted. And he's like, well, I can wrestle anyone. Give me somebody to wrestle. I'll fight somebody. And the leader's like, you kind of proven that you're not quite up to speed here. Maybe you should just stop. And he's like, no, I'm going to wrestle somebody. Give me somebody to wrestle. And the giant looks around, and he's like, well, nobody in this hall is really worthy of wrestle, or you're not really worthy to wrestle anybody in this hall. And Thor's getting really angry. He's like, give me somebody to wrestle. And he's like, go get Ellie. Go get Ellie. She's my old nursemaid. Bring her in here. So they bring in this old lady, and she's a giant, but she's just an old lady, and she comes over, and he's furious, but he's so angry and so desperate to fight somebody at this point that he tackles Ellie, and the two of them are going at it, and she's really strong, and he winds up losing to her. He only goes down on one knee, but he loses to this old nursemaid old lady. And he is just absolutely humiliated, and all four of them are just like, okay, this was not a good plan. We're gonna have to just call it quits. So the leader's like, it's okay, you guys. You tried. So just go to sleep. We'll feed you and give you drink and go to sleep, and tomorrow just be on your way. And they were all so embarrassed at this point. They were like, okay. So the next morning they wake up pretty early, and they're kind of down in the dumps, and the leader wakes up and he goes out with them to the gates and leads them out and everything. And he says to Thor, like, so how do you think you did? Did you really feel like you accomplished what you meant to accomplish when you came here? And Thor's like, no, honestly, you won, and that's never happened to me before, but you won fair and square, and I feel pretty bad about it. And the leader takes him aside and he's like, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. And Loki at this point is smiling because he's kind of figured this out. And he's kind of amused by this whole thing. And the leader's like, I tricked you. Loki ate really, really fast, and he faster than anybody that we've seen before, but there was no way he was going to win because Loki was actually fire. So it consumed everything in its path, and he didn't really have a chance. And then, and Thialfi ran really well, but Hugi, who he was running against, was my own thought, and there was no way that he could outrun thought. He did pretty well, but there was no way he could possibly done that. And as for you, you went to drink from that glass, but what you were drinking was the ocean. There was no way you could drink the entire ocean, but you drank a lot, and so when you go see the ocean next time, you're going to see that it's a little bit lower than it was before. And you tried to lift my cat, and we were all a little freaked out actually that you got as far as you did, because that was Jormungand, that was the world snake, and you lifted it so high it almost touched the sky. You're not supposed to be able to do that, but you did. And Ellie, who you were wrestling, that was old age. You were wrestling old age, and we were a little nervous that you got as far as you did then, and even after she beat you, you only went down on one knee, and nobody can beat old age, so you did really well. But I was protecting my hall with magic, and I'll do it again if you come again, or if anybody comes again. So we're well guarded here. Just go home. You did a good job. Just leave us alone. And so, and Thor was, Loki thought it was funny. Thor was mad. So he took Mjolnir and he went to strike down the leader, and the leader just vanished. There, he was gone. And so the four of them went back, not exactly as fulfilled as they wanted to be, but they had tried and they had done well, and yeah, that's basically what happened.